What's good? It's your boy Jay. That's me. Let's dive into NXT Roadblock from March the 5th, 2024. This was a fun, solid show. I thoroughly enjoyed it. This felt like a premium live event on television. That's exactly what it felt like. This was great. I thoroughly enjoyed this. So we kicked the show off with the first match of the night. That was the Asylum match involving Joe Gacy versus Dijak. The Asylum match was basically just a cage with just weapons involved. That's all it was. So there were still chairs involved, doors. So really early on in the match, Dijak decided to go up the top and do a moonsault. That should have been the finish. It wasn't. Gacy kicked out. The crowd chanted, "Holy shit." And then, kind of similar in their match at the last premium live event, I forgot what it's called. It escapes me. In their first encounter, or second encounter, they did the duct tape spot. Last time, Dijak was duct tape. This time it's Joe Gacy. So Dijak hits Feast Your Eyes. Gacy no-sells it, and then he does another Feast Your Eyes for the 1, 2, 3, and Dijak wins. So this was okay. I enjoyed it for what it was, but Dijak has been in NXT for about a year and a half. He came in around November of 2022, so he's been there for about, at the end of this year, if he's still in NXT, he's been there for 2 straight years. If Shawn Michaels isn't going to push Dijak, then they need to phase Dijak out of NXT and put him on the main roster. And again, I'm not a fan of Dijak. I'm not. But I'm saying, where's he going to go? He's had multiple championship opportunities. He's failed at all of them. What do you do with Dijak going forward? Like, what the fuck do you do? And now that this feud is over with now, what do you do with Joe Gacy? What do you do with him? So, I don't know. But hopefully Shawn Michaels figures it out. But in all honesty, it's time for Dijak to go back to that main roster. It's just time for it. And I wouldn't be shocked if he's on the main roster post-Mania. I wouldn't be shocked if he's on the main roster by that time. Because by that time, hopefully the Judgment Day saga will be over and done with. And they might still do the whole thing where Damian Priest gets kicked out of Judgment Day. Maybe. I don't know. But that's what I would do. Moving on. So, Tony D, he's talking with Stax and Adriana Rizzo. And he's telling them, look, tonight's a big night for the family. All things must go according to plan. And he tells Stax to bring in Luca Cristofano. And he agrees to become Tony's new concierge. So this is great. I love this. This is great. This should have really happened about a year and a half ago. Back when NXT was NXT 2.0, this should happen then. And this is great because Cristofano is a lawyer, so he can get them out of a lot of shit, basically. So this is great. This actually makes sense, and this is probably to make up for having Two Dimes being gone. And Two Dimes has been gone for well over a year now. I don't know if he's going to be back in WWE or not. I don't know. I don't even know if he's still in AEW or not. I don't even know. I don't know what he's doing. But Luca Cristofano is a great replacement for 2 times. Moving on. So we see Fallon Henley. She's backstage having a conversation with Riley Osborne. So Riley Osborne was thrown off by Thea Hale's play hard to get attitude during their date. Fallon Henley says that Thea Hale has just been getting bad advice lately. So Blair Davenport pokes fun at Fallon Henley, always trying to poke her nose in business that doesn't belong to her. And then Fallon Henley proceeds to challenge Blair Davenport to a match. Blair Davenport says that Fallon Henley wouldn't want that because it'll add to the long list of things that don't go her way. So this is fine. I guess they're still building towards the tag match between JC Jane, Jasmine Nix versus Thea Hale and Fallon Henley. I think that's where all this stuff is going to go. Blair Davenport is another one that doesn't have really a sense of direction. If Shawn Michaels has no plans for her, really just put her on the main roster. Like, Blair's been there for, what, a year and a half, 2 years as well? She's been there for a while. You know, it's time to do something with her. If you don't have anything for her, just move her up on the main roster. I hate to say that, but that's really what should happen. Because Blair Davenport, she really hasn't done much. I know she won the Iron Survivor Challenge back in December, but she's not done much since. So, I don't know. Moving on. So, the Wolf Dogs, they're up next. That involves Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker versus Chase University, Andre Chase, and Duke Hudson for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Very fun match here. But the Wolf Dogs win via the end of the days into the spear for the 1, 2, 3. So this actually makes sense. My theory is that at Stand and Deliver, the Good Brothers, they'll be the ones taking the tag titles away from the Wolf Dogs. And then after that, that's when Braun Breaker will go to SmackDown. I don't know what they're going to do with Baron Corbin. I don't. But he's been there for a while, too. Not tired of him, but it makes sense to have him back down in NXT. But once they lose the tag titles, what's the next step for Baron Corbin? You can't put him in the NXT title contention anymore. You might could put him into the NXT North American Championship title contention. I think that would be fine. I would like to see him versus Oba Femi anyway. I think that would be pretty cool. So, I don't know, but Baron Corbin has a lot to think about once Braun is officially up on the main roster. Because Triple H, what he needs to do with Braun, you can do another couple weeks of him crushing jobbers, but after that, they need to put him in a feud. He needs to get involved in a feud with somebody. I don't know who, but he needs to be in a feud with somebody. I would have him personally feud with somebody like a Sheamus or whatever. I think that'd be pretty cool. So I don't know. That's what I would do for a little bit. Moving on. So Kelly Kinnaid, she had a backstage interview with Carmelo Hayes. Melo says that Ilja Dragunov's decision-making skills are terrible. When has he ever backed down from a fight? That's a rhetorical question. Tony D may have outsmarted him last week, but Melo found a new set of personal security guards. You saw what happened to the last guy that tried to jump the line. The NXT title is reserved for the biggest star in NXT. There's no bigger star than Carmelo Hayes. He's going to create history by going back-to-back with the championship victories at Stand and Deliver, because he is him. So that's fine. I mean, it makes sense. I do think that Melo, after he does his feud with Trick, he'll go to the main roster as well. So NXT is going to be needing some guys from the main roster to come down for a while. I think that's what's going to happen, because you're going to get a lot of call-ups, probably post-Mania for sure. Moving on, Shawn Spears, he defeated Uriah Connors. So he beat the shit out of him. He hit the C4, which is just a Death Valley driver. So post-match, Shawn Spears says it takes a certain kind of man to hold a mirror up to humanity. Most of you won't like what you see. Being forced to be what you are instead of what you truly want to be. That's the very definition of hypocrisy. So, Ridge Holland, those words hit a little close to home, don't they? You say every time you compete in this ring, it's for your family. That sounds like a moral success, but the thing is, I don't believe you. You're lying to yourself, Ridge. The darkness of thoughts, they get a hold of all of us, especially me. But the difference between you and me, Ridge, is that when I hold a mirror up to my face, I'm not ashamed of what I see. You can't say the same, and you know I'm right. Enough of this emotional damage that you're going through. It's time to be a man. And then Ridge Holland, he returns, and he tees off on Shawn Spears. And then he's able to get the upper hand. He has the steel chair in his hand. Shawn Spears is yelling to him to hit him and everything else. And then WWE officials and referees come down to stop it. So this is fine. Again, you guys know I'm not the biggest fan of Shawn Spears. I'm not. But this does make sense. This gives him something to do. I'm kind of glad that he's back in NXT, although I wish that he would have went to TNA versus NXT. So I don't know, but it is what it is. I mean, again, this is fine. Again, I'm not a fan of Shawn Spears. I'm not. But what happened last week was great. You know, that was pretty cool. You know, it is what it is. I can't say I'm against the character. You know, he's making it work. So, I don't know. I will give it time. So, I will give him some grace on that. I give it a couple months. Moving on. So, Josh Briggs wishes Brooks Jensen in his match against Obafemi next week for the North American Championship. So then Dijak walks in the frame for whatever reason and says that Briggs is lying to himself. Jensen is a dead man walking, and he knows it, which I would agree with. And I don't understand why Shawn Michaels has Briggs trying to be all buddy-buddy with Jensen trying to be all buddy-buddy with Briggs trying to be all buddy-buddy with Jensen. I don't get it. I don't know. They might try to be doing maybe a tag team, maybe Dijak and Josh Briggs. I'm kind of against that, but it makes sense. Moving on. So Kelly Kincaid had another backstage interview with Ilja Dragunov. What does he think about tonight's main event? He says when you're the NXT champion, you can't be surprised by anything. He likes Tony D'Angelo. He's a man of vision. However, he sees the end of that vision very differently. He doesn't take anything away from Carmelo Hayes as far as his in-ring ability is concerned. Melo has to earn this rematch tonight. And then Stacks tells Dragunov that the Don will see him at NXT stand and deliver. So I like that. That was great. Good shit there. Moving on, the Kabuki Warriors, they defeated Lyra Valkyria and Tatum Paxley to retain the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, which makes perfect sense. Why wouldn't they? I forgot, Tatum Paxley cut a very weird and bizarre promo earlier on. It creeped me the fuck out. That's all I can say on it. It was weird. Post-match, Roxanne Perez gets involved. And so she beats down Lyra Valkyria, and then she stomps viciously on the left shoulder of Lyra. So then we see Lyra getting into the ambulance, being taken away. So I do like that. So they're probably going to set up another match between Roxanne Perez and Lyra Valkyria. That makes perfect sense. Moving on, Fallon Henley defeated Blair Davenport with the help of Soruka. So she wins via the Shining Wizard. And Soruka, towards the end of the match, she hits the cartwheel DDT on the floor behind the referee's back. So that sets up their feud, which is fine. I hope that Soruka has changed her finisher. I really hope she has. If not, she's going to continue to get injured, and that's not good. Soruka is decent. But she needs to change her finisher. Because if she doesn't, she's going to have knee problems later on in life. I can guarantee you that. So maybe next week it'll probably be Blair Davenport versus Soruka. Maybe. I don't know. Moving on. So, I forgot to mention there was also a fight scene involving Thea Hale and Kiana James. She got into it with Izzy Dame and Kiana James. So they had a little fight scene. So, excuse me. So, JC Jane, she scolds State University in the back cage area. Thea Hale informs everybody, all loud, that she needs a tag partner following her brawl with Kiana James and Izzy Dame. And so JC Jane tells Thea that she'll be busy next week, and her and Jasmine Nix, they walk off. So moving on. So that's fine. So now we know that JC Jane is a heel. That makes perfect sense. So this is going to, like I say, set up the tag match between JC Jane and Jasmine Nix versus Fallon Henley and Thea Hale. But that'll probably happen at Stand and Deliver. I think that'll make the most sense for it. Because we still have 3 weeks of build left. So that could be fine. Moving on. So Ariana Grace tells Ava Raine that the only way she can get back in the ring with G.D. Dolan is if she wins, G.D. Dolan has to let Ariana Grace reshape her image. And this is great. I love this. This is great. I love Ariana Grace. She's so fucking good. I love her. She is tremendous. She's great. She's a gem. She's a gem. Moving on. So Sean Spears, he's looking forward to having a match with Ridge Holland next week. He's going to make Ridge embrace the rage that's inside of him. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Moving on. So we get the No Quarter Catch Crew celebration. So thankfully, Miles Bourne didn't talk in this at all, which is great. He was the silent guy, which is perfect for him. Perfect. Drew Gulak gets on the mic and says, last week the entire world saw what three of us already knew about Charlie Dempsey. That's the fact that he's one of the most unique grapplers in all of professional wrestling. Thanks to Charlie, the NXT Heritage Cup now sits with No Quarter Catch Crew. Charlie Dempsey gets on the mic, cuts a good little promo. He says that he's got to say winning this is an honor. See, the Heritage Cup is something that I've held great interest in for quite some time. This cup represents the style of competition that perfectly aligns itself with my vision of the pure art of this sport. But this prize is not mine alone. Damon Kemp says it's about time the Heritage Cup is represented and showcased by athletes in combat. My boy Charlie here won the cup. We're all champions as a collective. The no quarter catch clause means that any member of the no quarter catch crew can defend this championship. Drew Gulak says, speaking of our moment, the NQCC will officially enter itself in the NXT Tag Team Elimination Tournament made earlier on by General Manager Ava Rain. So come NXT Stand and Deliver will not only be NXT Heritage Cup champion, but will be NXT Tag Team champions. So that's fine. So they're basically doing the same shit that Tony Khan's doing over in AEW. Tony Khan wanted Sting and Darby to vacate the belts, which they did, and he's going to hold a tournament, and WWE is going to do the same shit. So that does make sense. So that's fine, I guess. That's fine. That's fine. So Damon Kemp says we'll succeed by showing no mercy. No pity. Drew Gulak says no mercy. Charlie Dempsey says no remorse. And then out of nowhere, biggest pop of the night, one of the biggest pops of the night, William Regal shows up, and it pops the fuck out of me. It says, ladies and gentlemen, it's great to see all of you again. The Heritage Cup championship means the absolute world to me because that championship represents outstanding competitors from the British and European scene for generations. So every time that cup is contested, all the ladies and gentlemen that came before me from Europe, it's a tribute to them, and I take that very personally. So I hope you defend this cup with the honor and the integrity it deserves. So Charlie, he responds by saying, I'll defend this cup better than you ever did. And then Regal says, I'll be watching. I love this. This was tremendous. This was excellent. Very, very good shit here. I love this. This was tremendous. I loved it. This was great. I'm interested in seeing where this goes moving forward. Moving on. So Noam Dar, he's despondent inside and out. So Noam Dar says that the past is the past. It's time to look forward to a brighter future. So he embraces Last Legend and Oro Mensah. That's pretty cool. Moving on. So Von Wagner tells Mr. Stone that he's not finished with Lexis King. However, Mr. Stone needs Von Wagner to step aside because King made things personal with him. Stone needs to fight this battle alone. Okay, that's fine. Main event. Carmelo Hayes versus Tony D'Angelo. The winner will face Ilja at NXT Stand and Deliver. So, Tony D wins because he played Trick Williams' music that distracted Melo and that allowed for him to hit the spine buster, and he connects with the Forget About It, which is the Fisherman neckbreaker for the 1, 2, 3. That was great. So Tony D gets on the mic and says that he's a giving Don. So he got Carmelo Hayes a present. And Trick Williams' music plays. The crowd goes fucking insane. Trick tees off on Carmelo and his security guards, and the show goes off the air. So this is great. Trick Williams returns, and I love this. this episode of NXT was great. This was tremendous. I love this show. I had a lot of fun watching this. This was great. Absolutely great. I loved it. I loved it. This is excellent. This is definitely going to be the main event of Stand and Deliver. You could have Dragunov and Tony D be the co-main event. This is great. This is excellent. I love this. I love this. A lot of good stuff to like on this show. But what did you guys think? Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.